Welcome into On the Mark with Anita Marks. Of course, that is me. Brought to you by 500 Level. Live like a legend. Knicks fans, I've got my Jalen Brunson. Hashtag run, don't walk. Get to 500 Level. Make sure you get your NBA t-shirts. More on 500 Level in just a second. But it is NBA playoffs. And of course, we've got a lot of New York followers, and that means a lot of Knicks fans listening to the podcast. So we're going to hear from Ian Begley, who of course covers the Knicks for SNY. We're going to hear from him momentarily. But how does this postseason, how's it shaking out right now for the Knicks? As we know, the Knicks behind Boston and the Cleveland Cavaliers in regard to the standings. So they're coming in as the third seed. But here's what the negative is. They've gone 0-8. Against both those teams, let alone losing like by a substantial number, and in a number of those games had a big lead, lost the lead, and then got their butts handed to them. So how much confidence do Knicks fans have on this team coming into the postseason? Their first matchup is going to be against the Detroit Pistons. That line right now, the Detroit Pistons and the Knicks favored by 7. The over-under is 220. To win the series, Knicks minus 450. Detroit to win the series is plus 330. At the end of the day, this is a Knicks team that has had a really difficult time when they have gone up against the Detroit Pistons. They're 3-1 on the season against the Detroit Pistons, stopping Cade Cunningham. Dude is unbelievable, very, very talented. But this is a Knicks team that, especially Tibbs, prides themselves on defense. Can OG step up and provide all the reasons why, right? This Knicks team brought in OG is for his defensive prowess. Can he really compete and contend and try to limit what Cade Cunningham has been able to do against the Knicks so far in this regular season? Can they stop him doing that in the postseason? They're going to need to in order for this Knicks team to have success and win. Here's a positive for you, because I don't want to be a negative Nelly the whole show, and that is Jalen Brunson rested, coming in off of that ankle injury. I kind of feel that this is a blessing in disguise, considering that one of the biggest knocks on Thibodeau is the fact that he plays his starters so many minutes. There is not a lot of load management. So coming into the postseason, these guys are gassed, especially if they've got series that are going to go the distance. And many people feel that this Detroit Pistons series against the Knicks very well could go the distance. Possibly 6, maybe 7. And if that's the case now, how rested, how ready is that Knicks team going to be if they have to go up to Boston to face the Celtics? I also like the over at 220 in this. If you were to say, all right, Anita, Detroit, the Knicks, how are you playing it? What's your favorite play? I lean more towards the over here. Why? Because Cade Cunningham has had immense success against the Knicks so far in the regular season. Brunson being rested. Also, this is a Detroit defense. They're very young. Their last 12 games coming into the postseason, they allowed 119 points per game. So defensively, they are not coming in the postseason defensively playing their best basketball. And also, the Detroit Pistons play a very fast pace. So I think we're going to see some high-scoring games, hence why my favorite play coming into this matchup is 220, over 220. Again, I want to give a big shout-out to our sponsors, 500 Level. Why? They are iconic. Original graphic tees, 500 Level, live like a legend, immortalizing the legends of the game with iconic original graphic tees. 500 Level custom t-shirts typically print next business day and ship directly to your home. Sign up for fan points and begin earning on every purchase. MLB, MLS, NBA, NHL, NFL, and of course, UFC and WWE. Shop 500 Level. Go to shop500level.com. Use my code MARKS20 for 20% off. 500 Level, live like a legend. Also want to give a shout out to our new sponsor, and that is Naira Bets. We are so stoked and so excited. Kentucky Derby, the 151st running of, is coming your way Saturday, May 3rd. So May 1st, we're aligning with ABR, America's Best Racing, and we are bringing you a Kentucky Derby preview show brought to you by Naira Bets, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Kick off the American Triple Crown of horse racing, betting with Naira Bets. They have everything you need to bet on the 2025 Kentucky Derby online and betting with confidence. Sign up now to get a $25 Derby bet and $200 sign up bonus. So make sure you do that with Naira Bets and look for our program coming your way May 1st. And last but not least, big shout out to Batch Cookies and Cream, small family owned bake shop. Go online to batchcookiesandcream.com, order your box of cookies. It's a surprise box. You don't know what flavors are in there, but I can guarantee you they are absolutely delicious. Without further ado, our special guest, and that is Ian Begley from SNY. Live like a legend. He's a legend in these parts here in New York covering the Knicks. All right, Ian, is it about that time? And the Knicks have finally made it into the playoffs. However, they're sitting, as we know, behind the Cavs and the Celtics, who, by the way, 0-8 against those two teams. What are your thoughts about this Knicks team as they're about to embark into the postseason?
Not coming in at a great note here. I mean, they lost a couple games into the season. I know they were resting guys, but you mentioned that mark against the Cavs and the Celtics, and you could throw in the Thunder, you could throw in the Lakers, you could throw in their first-round opponent, the Pistons, 1-3 against Detroit, I believe. And they haven't had a ton of success against winning teams in the league. So I think the fan base is a little nervous, I think, and correctly so, because this team, while the win total is fantastic, you haven't seen them do it against a lot of the elite teams around the league. So they have something to prove coming into the postseason.
Yeah, so, as we know, Jalen Brunson coming off that ankle injury, Mitchell Robinson obviously wasn't active and attractive, for the majority of the season. Have we seen the best of what this team could put on the court? I'm hoping not, right? But, and also, is this just a short turnaround time to really get it right? With Towns and Mitch Robinson on the court, along with Jalen Brunson healthy, is it enough time to really bring it all together?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see it come all together by the end of the regular season. I think they were still finding their rhythm with the two gentlemen that you mentioned. Mitchell Robinson, though, we should note that there are going to be no restrictions on him from a minutes perspective, back-to-back perspective in the postseason. So that's good news. And I do think Jalen Brunson is in a good place, physically and mentally. So this week, if it goes right for the Knicks, they will get it together during these practices, and they'll come out and play well against the Pistons. You could make the argument that their best basketball is ahead of them because of Robinson and now Brunson being back healthy, and they do have very good health coming into the postseason. So, yes, I could see why someone would take that point, but I wonder, because we haven't seen it at a high level against high-level competition from this group yet. So, again, something to prove there. The talent is there, the health is there, and let's see if they can put it all together.
Didn't like, obviously, Brunson with the ankle injury, but could it possibly be a blessing in disguise in some way, shape, or form, considering the lack of minutes that he's played, as, of course, we're heading into the postseason? As we know, Tibbs, one of the biggest criticisms is that he plays his starters too long. And so now maybe Brunson's coming into the postseason a little bit more rested than he would have if he would not have injured his ankle.
It's an interesting question, interesting thought. I haven't asked Jalen how he's feeling from a workload perspective, and if he feels fresher than he has in past seasons based on missing that last month. I would assume that if he were to pick playing heavy minutes in games and being healthy versus coming off of the ankle injury, he would have chosen to be healthy, but maybe there is a silver lining there for him. And maybe there's a silver lining in terms of, guys like OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, having more shot attempts when Brunson was not there. Maybe that allows them to get into some kind of rhythm. That's another theory that's kind of people espouse. I'm going to have to see it to believe it with that in particular. I don't buy a lot into that because, you put Brunson back on the floor and things are different. And so maybe it can help. Maybe it can help both of those things that we're talking about. But I'm a wait-and-see kind of guy with this club just because it hasn't been the same as last year in terms of, just a feeling that the cohesive play of this group, the togetherness of the group is going to lift them up to higher places. You felt that last year with the team. Reasons for me not to have felt it so far this year. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I miss Hartenstein and the big ragu. I'm with you. I think that there's a different feel, especially watching. Obviously, you've got your finger on the pulse of this team better than most, of course, because you cover them. But as a spectator and as a fan, there is a different feel to it. All right, let's look big picture here. Knicks to win the series is minus 425. Detroit to win the series is plus 330. Game one, the Knicks are favored by 7. The over-under is 220. One thing about this Detroit Pistons team, they're 3-1 against the Knicks in the regular season, and the Knicks defensively have not been able to limit Cade Cunningham. How do they do it in this series, Ian?
Well, look, they gave OG Anunoby, they re-signed him to a big deal in the offseason. They traded a ton of draft capital, 5 firsts, depending on how you do the math, to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. And this is why they allocated those assets in both of those players to retain or acquire both of those players to be able to defend against the top opposing player, whether it's a wing or a ball handler. This is where those transactions are going to be tested. The value of those transactions are going to be tested, and the stakes are high. And so if the Knicks were right about Bridges, if they were right about Anunoby, those guys are going to be able to help slow down Cade Cunningham. You're not going to defend him with one player, of course. You defend him with your team, but the talent of an Anunoby, the talent of a Bridges should help you slow him down, especially given that you're going to see these guys night in and night out, and Tom Thibodeau has a deserved reputation as a coach who has his team very well prepared. And so let's see how it unfolds. But to me, this is where Anunoby and Bridges really show their value to your group.
So last question for you. How confident are you that the Knicks are going to win this series against Detroit? And bigger picture here, how far do you think they could go in the postseason?
Yeah, I guess my confidence level, I'm not a big predictions guy, but my confidence level, I would put it at, I guess, 60% that they get through in 6 games, maybe 7 games. I think 60% they get through because they have the experience. And I think the talent gap, if you're looking, 1 to 8, even 1 to 9, I don't know if they're going to go 9 players. The Knicks have the edge there overall. So I think that's why I do feel like they're likely to win this series. You look ahead, though, to Boston, and if the Knicks get beat up in this Detroit series and win, let's say they win some close games, it's a physical battle, and you're limping into that Boston series, I don't give them a good shot at all to win that series, really regardless of how the Detroit series goes, but particularly if the games are tight and physical and you're kind of banged up going into the second round.
Well, 60%, Ian, I'm sure that doesn't give Knicks fans a lot of confidence, but nonetheless, as we know, everybody will be cheering for them. Ian, always appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so much. Enjoy the series.
Thank you, Anita. You as well.
We're going to take a quick commercial break to acknowledge our sponsors. 500 Level, iconic original graphic tees. 500 Level, live like a legend. 500 Level immortalizes the legends of the game with iconic original graphic tees. 500 Level, custom t-shirts typically print next business day and ship directly to your home. Sign up for fan points, begin earning on every purchase. MLB, MLS, NBA, of course NBA, go get your Knicks shirts, please. NHL, NFL, of course UFC and WWE. Reminder, 500level.com, that's where you want to go. Use my code MARKS20 for 20% off. Also, big shout out to Naira Bets. You've got the Kentucky Derby right around the corner, Saturday, May 3rd. The most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Make sure you go to Naira Bets. They have everything you need to bet on the Kentucky Derby online and with confidence. Sign up now to get a $25 Derby bet and $200 sign up bonus as well. And big shout out to Batch Cookies and Cream. Go to Batch Cookies and the letter in cream.com to order your box. Family owned, delicious cookies. No oils, no preservatives. They're just absolutely delish. All right, I want to thank Ian Begley for joining us, giving us that Knicks preview, somewhat big picture, as well as what's going on in their first matchup in the playoffs against the Detroit Pistons. 60% Knicks fans, that does not sound or feel very, very good or very convincing, does it? Again, just to recap, the Knicks in this first game favored by 7. The over-under is 220. Again, I like the over in this matchup. Staying away from a side. Do like the total. Knicks to win the series, minus 425. Detroit to win the series, plus 330. Again, even though Ian Begley only giving the Knicks a 60% chance of winning this series. And all that comes with that. I want to give you some other odds in regard to big picture as the NBA playoffs are about to kick off. Don't forget, we do have the play-in games coming your way, and let's share those with you. So the first game Tuesday night at 7:30, the Hawks going up against the Magic. The Magic favored by 5. The over-under is 217. The Magic have gone 5-29 this season when hitting fewer than 10 3-pointers a game. And one of those 5 victories came against the Hawks. Keep in mind, the Magic are bottom 5 offensively, but they've been able to beat the Hawks even when their game is not on point in regard to 3-point shooting. So am I going to lay the 5 with the Magic? I just might. And that game tips off at 7:30 on Tuesday. The late game on Tuesday is the Grizzlies going up against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors are favored by 7. The over-under is 229 here. Let's be honest. The Warriors have been one of the hottest teams since they traded for Jimmy Butler on February 8th. Also, this might be a surprise. The Golden State Warriors bench has actually outperformed their starters this season. So if there is a side that I really love in this, of course, on Tuesday night, it's the Golden State Warriors. I will lay the 7. On Wednesday night at 7:30, you've got the Heat going up against the Bulls. The Bulls are favored by 1. The over-under is 219. No play here for me. My thing is, Miami plays well, but they can't close out games. Can they close it out against the Bulls, who are shooting almost 40% from downtown? I just don't know. Staying away from that matchup. And then, of course, Wednesday night, you got the Mavs going up against the Kings. The Kings are favored by 5. The over-under is 215.5. The Kings, they're the league's worst team against 3-point shooting and went 3-0 against Dallas in the regular season. So no play in that one for me. Out of these 4 matchups, I'd say the Golden State Warriors at -7 probably is my favorite play in the play-in games. Big picture, OKC favored to win this whole damn thing at +165. Can you blame them? I don't think you can. I mean, not only have they beaten teams, they've demolished teams. I guess the only concern there is that they're kind of young. So, is that not having a lot of veteran leaders who've been in this situation before. The postseason is a whole nother animal. Are they going to be able to rise to the occasion? I think they do. I think they're the best team in the NBA. I know I'm not going out on a limb there to say that. Boston is at +190. The Cavs at 7-1. The Lakers are very interesting at 14-1. LeBron, Luka, Reeves, those 3, the 3-headed monster, they have what it takes for the Lakers to win a championship. I don't believe so, but 14-1, those are some pretty good odds. I'll tell you what I do like, and I am going to go to the window on, and that's the Golden State Warriors at 17-1. Like I said, ever since the addition of Jimmy Butler, he's just, and especially we haven't even seen playoff Jimmy yet. We saw how phenomenal playoff Jimmy was with the Miami Heat. How incredible can he be with the Golden State Warriors? Because he's played pretty damn well since he's become a member of that squad. So I do like the Golden State Warriors at 17-1. I am going to throw some coin on that. By the way, Knicks fans, 25-1. Those are the odds for the Knicks to win the championship this year. I don't believe it's going to happen. Again, don't want to be a negative Nelly, but 25-1, those are some pretty big odds. For the Knicks to represent the conference is +850. Boston is -145, and the Cavs are +225. As for OKC to rep their conference, -140. The Lakers 6-1, and the Golden State Warriors +750. So futures bets, I'm going to throw a little coin on the Golden State Warriors to represent the West at +750, and I'm going to throw some coin on the Golden State Warriors to win the championship at 17-1. Why not? But I do believe OKC is going to bring it home. Again, I want to thank, of course, Ian Begley joining us on the program, giving us some really good insight in regard to this first matchup against the Detroit Pistons. Also, our sponsors, 500 Level, Live Like a Legend, Naira Bets, getting us ready for the Kentucky Derby. Really excited for our Kentucky Derby show coming your way May 1st. And, of course, Batch Cookies and Cream. Everybody, enjoy the first round of the playoffs. And we'll see you next week. Big NFL draft, mock draft show coming your way on Wednesday, the night before the first round of the draft. Make sure you like, subscribe, listen, all the things to our podcast, our YouTube channel as well, On the Mark Show. We'll see you then.